Do you struggle to say no to your kids and set limits with them? Does it sometimes feel like you're more of a friend than an actual parent to them? If so, you might be inadvertently using this one parenting style, which is the permissive parenting. Look, I get it. We've all been a little permissive with our kids, including me. And it's okay. We're not perfect, and we're all trying the best we can with the resources that we have available. But knowledge is power. What matters is raising awareness of what permissive parent really means and truly understanding the consequences of it if we choose to follow down this path in the long run. I'll be listing the top 7 characteristics with very realistic examples. Point number 6 is basically the foundation of all the 7 points that I would like to talk about. So make sure you stick around until the end because it is going to be worth your time. This is actually a parenting style that has become increasingly popular nowadays, which isn't necessarily a good thing. I'll tell you why. And there will be also another separate video, part of this series, about the effects of this parenting style on children down the road as they grow up. It will be linked somewhere on this video. Let's dive in. First introduced by Dr. Benjamin Spock, who was considered a parenting expert in the late 50s and 60s. Permissive parenting means allowing your kid to do pretty much anything he feels like it. Parents that normally let the kid run the show and run the house, whatever feels good for the child, the parents are ready to indulge. According to the clinical psychologist Diana Bonrind, permissive parents are more responsive rather than demanding. They are non-traditional and lenient, do not require mature behavior, allow considerable self-regulation, and avoid confrontation. These parents have very low expectations from their kids, and the act of effectively disciplining them is quite rare. Number 1, are usually very warm and nurturing towards their kids. Number 2, they invite their kids to have a say and play part of grown-up decisions. Number 3, their focus is more on giving their kid lots of freedom rather than teach them responsibility. Number 4, they have few rules and standards of behavior in place. And the rules that they do try to set, they're inconsistent. Number 5, they may bribe their kids with treats, toys, gifts, extra screen time, just to make sure they behave well. Number 6, they don't really have a good, solid routine and structure in place. Number 7, they rarely follow through with consequences from bad behavior. Now let's go through some realistic examples so we can get a better scope of the situation. A trip to the supermarket. So you and your kid are at the supermarket. Your kid grabs a big box of chocolate off the shelf and throws it in the trolley. Then you go and say, "No, we're not going to buy this." He gets mad and he hits you. And instead of setting a firm boundary, stating that hitting is not okay, you go up to your child and you kiss him and laugh it off. Every example that I'm going to give here, it's going to be linked to the point that I just mentioned. Number 2 example. Same scenario at the supermarket. You let your kid decide when it's time to go home. Number 3, your kid runs around the supermarket freely, knocking down groceries just for fun. Number 4, you try to set a rule. You tell them to stop running around and knocking down stuff. They don't listen and they keep going. And you end up just laughing it off again because they're just kids being kids, right? They just want to have fun. Number 5, in order to get them to leave the supermarket, you finally cave and you buy that big box of chocolate that they hit you for. Number 6, you get home from the supermarket, your kid runs inside, doesn't remove his shoes, climbs on top of the couch, and starts jumping on it with dirty shoes on. You tell your kid to get off the couch and remove their dirty shoes. Your kid doesn't listen again. He carries on doing it. And because you're already too tired, you just got home from the supermarket with the kid, you dealt with a lot of stuff, and you just give up, you don't do anything, and move on to putting away your groceries. So as you can see from this scenario, it sounds a bit exaggerated, but sadly, it's the reality of a lot of families. If you watch Super Nanny, you'll understand more, but whatever I'm sharing here is not in any way to judge you and your form of parenting. It's just to create awareness. And obviously, every family should be able to decide what kind of parenting style they're going to go for. But this is just my humble opinion that permissive parenting is not necessarily the ideal one. This is just me talking about my own kids and my own family, but it's important to know all the facts. It's important for us families to gather all the information we can get to get access to all the resources that are out there available for us. Because obviously in the past, our parents and our grandparents didn't exactly know better. It's not like they were one click away from a YouTube video that would teach them or guide them through the parenting and the struggles they were going through at that time. Sadly, they didn't have the same access to resources that we have today. It's just a way of me telling you that today we are so blessed from all the resources that we have at our fingertips. So as you can see, permissive parenting basically embraces dysfunction, chaos, and does everything to avoid confrontation. I'll be talking about the effects and consequences of this parenting style on children as they grow older and become adults on my next video. So check it out if you're interested. I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.